Ooh, you know exactly what that is. But guess what? I will not be eating it. Guess why? Because it's fasting season, baby! Let's go! Well, what's up, YouTube? Hi, if we have not met before, I'm Samu. I'm a pastor and a coach. And in this video, we're going to be talking about fasting. What is it and why I believe that every disciple of Jesus absolutely should do it. So today is the 5th of March, 2025, which marks the beginning of the Lent season. Lent is a 6-week-long fast, which for the past 1,000 years or so has been the most significant fast in Christendom from today, Wednesday, 6 weeks up until Easter. And my church, Northern Church here in Helsinki, we are taking part in this. It doesn't mean we're going 6 weeks without food. We'll talk about that in a second. I guess it might be worth mentioning that the Lent fast is not specifically mentioned in the Bible, but just because it's not in the Bible doesn't mean it's not biblical. As far as I know, the Lent fast draws its inspiration from Jesus spending 40 days fasting in the wilderness and Moses being 40 days on the mount without food twice, I believe. So this is just something that the church has been doing, and I think it's a brilliant idea. I think it's a wonderful tradition that we've just kind of lost and made into a weird pagan thing with the Carnival and Mardi Gras, and I think that it's worth redeeming. Imagine that your walk with God is like a hike up the mountain, and there's a trail, and it's a relatively nice trail. It's not too steep. It's just gradual, slow process. Well, fasting is a little bit like turning to the side and climbing directly up the steep face of the mountain. What I mean is you are momentarily intensifying your progress in your pursuit of God by creating a window of time where you're putting in greater conscious effort to seek after God in the form of fasting. Fasting has the potential to get you somewhere in your walk as a disciple of Jesus faster than you just going about your day-to-day as a disciple. Before we go any further, I want to talk about the heart behind fasting and what fasting is not. So here's something I wish I had understood as a younger believer, that fasting is not a means for you to get anything from God. I used to believe that fasting causes God to turn towards us and move towards us. But that's not the case at all. Jesus already did that. Because otherwise what can end up happening is you just do a 6-week hunger strike, like some toddler with a temper tantrum saying, I'm not going to eat until you bless me. And it's not going to work, and you're just going to be miserable, and you won't get the breakthrough that you were looking for anyway. Rather, what fasting does is it turns us toward God. It causes us to move toward God. And fasting doesn't make you any holier. And I used to also approach fasting as a means of proving something to myself, that I'm a tough guy or I'm a real Christian. And this attitude, it really doesn't get you very far, because it ends up just being legalism all over. Because what if you go 3 days into your 7-day fast and then life with small kids and whatever else gets super difficult, and then you end up having to eat so that you can function? Well, did you fail? What did you prove? Because you failed at it, right? You didn't go 7 days, even though you told yourself and told God that you would. Because this guy that I follow on social media told me that he went 7 days without, and he's not even a believer. You see, this mentality is man-focused. It's not Christ-focused. It's not God-focused. So we don't fast to become better Christians. We fast because we are Christians. Jesus said that the day is going to come when the bridegroom is taken away, and then the friends of the bridegroom will fast. Not they can fast or might fast or should fast, just that they will fast. You see, it's not an extreme and radical thing that this preacher guy somewhere or missionary does, or the crazy intercessor lady. No, this is for everybody. You see, what fasting does is it creates awareness in your life of your need for God. Specifically, when you're fasting from food at some level, you become more conscious of your personal weakness. And when you start fasting, you should expect that things are going to come up from your soul, things that you didn't realize were there, whether that's disappointment or anger or self-centeredness or pride. These things will surface as you discipline your own body and your own soul and create this vacancy in your life that only God can fill. And that's the gift of it. Fasting really enables us to see things in our own life that we otherwise would not see. And now let's quickly run through the many different ways in which you might fast this Lent season. At this point in the video, I would like to remind you to fast responsibly and at your own risk. I am not a doctor. I am not your God. This is not medical advice. You do what you want to do, okay? If you're pregnant, if you're diabetic, etc., use your head and respect the season that you're in, respect your body, respect your medical conditions. Thank you. So like I said, there's probably like 100 different ways that you can fast. Historically, one of the most popular ways to do the Lent fast would be what's called the Daniel fast, which is found in the book of Surprise, Daniel. I'm not going to go through all the details of it, but the short version is it's basically a reduced plant-based diet. So none of this and none of this. Other ways to fast include doing a 1 day on, 1 day off water fast kind of deal. So every other day you're eating like you would any day. And the next day you're not eating anything at all. You're just drinking water. You might also fast from caffeine, sugar, alcohol. Ultimately, the best way to fast is the one that the Holy Spirit convicts you of. Fasting should be simple and you don't have to get overly ambitious about it. And if you do any level of water fasting, please remember your electrolytes. If you water fast without electrolytes, it will mess you up. Ask me how I know. If it's just a day or two, you'll probably be fine with just a pinch of sea salt and a bit of lemon in your water. If it's longer than that, I would advise using some sort of an electrolyte powder. This Lent season, all I'm doing is I'm not eating treats like chocolate or ice cream or whatever, and I'm not eating until 12 o'clock every single day. But after 12, I want to eat exactly the way that I would normally. And maybe you're watching this later on in the week, maybe you're watching this next week, and you're thinking, oh, I missed it. No, you didn't. You're not late. You haven't missed the boat. You can still jump on board. There's no pressure. There's no stress to it. This is a wonderful experience that God invites all of us to join. And finally, fasting is not just about what you're leaving out of your life for 6 weeks, but it's about what you're including in your life. If you're going to spend 6 weeks doom scrolling to distract yourself from your hunger, you're completely missing the point, and it's going to end up being a big fat zero. Rather, when you're fasting, remove other distractions from your life. Maybe get off social media or cancel your Netflix or whatever it is so that you can create space in your life for you to actually pray, talk to God, and seek His face. Because this is a beautiful experience, and I believe Jesus is inviting every single one of His disciples to join in this experience that we might benefit from the gift and the beauty of fasting and know Him more deeply as a result. So, will you be fasting this year? I hope so. If you're not too late, you're welcome to join me. See you guys in the next video.